My goodness.
Hello.
Ooh, look at me. I'm a little so saturated.
Let
With a lot of saturation.
me go and fix that.
I got some good colors going today. Hey y'all, we're back on the stream.
We are.
Hi. We were trying some technical stuff that didn't work out, so this is gonna look a lot like our regular stream. And tonight, I don't want to talk too much because I'm gonna attempt.
Well, there you go. Is that better
exciting.
for you?
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I'm gonna attempt to do something kind of quickly. I wanted to do a music production stream of some kind tonight, and I thought it would be cool since I have a music production class and I've assigned a music production project to my students. Hi students, thanks for tuning in. That I would try and complete that same project myself. So I teach a year-long music production class right now, and the course is broken up into 6 learning periods, and I'm attempting to have everyone do a track every learning period. Starting to ramp up the complexity. So the current assignment is a track that contains at least 5 tracks, 3 sections. Every element of the track is synthesized from scratch, or at least a element of each element. I like to talk to my students about the 5 elements of producing music.
Oh, what are they?
Drums, bass, melody, harmony, and sound effects. I think pretty much everything can be roped into one of those sections. Vocals fall under the melody category mostly, right? You could maybe have vocals as their own 6th section, but typically they fulfill one of those jobs. So what I'm going to do right now is attempt to complete this project that my students have 5 weeks or 5 or 6 or 5 weeks to do in 55 minutes.
Timer starts now.
Yes, so thank you, Jay. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a bass sound. I'm pretty fond of, where's the basic shapes? I like this second, my basic shapes come in a different order. This basic shapes is missing the waveform that I normally use here. Okay, we'll use the triangle. That's very strange. Cool. So we'll use this triangle wave thing, and we're gonna make kind of like a plucky bass. I've been kind of liking this kind of like octave bass sounds lately. So let's make one of those. So we'll set a second oscillator up an octave. Oh, that's an interesting set of options. Let's use analog BD sign. We'll spread the higher one. Kind of a weird move for a bass, but we're getting weird today. Transpose this up 2 octaves, maybe. Nah, I didn't like that. 12. And then we're going to get a second envelope to do a little pitch drop, make this thing feel a little like donkier, like a little womp here. So we'll do a pitch drop on both of these guys.
Maybe you should have done some Donkey Kong music.
Totally, right? What was I thinking? So I think I kind of want something that's more like an 808 maybe. So that's kind of doing that job more or less. We'll fine tune that after I distort the crap out of it. That's pretty fun. It's a little unison-y for that. There we go. The compressor, this multiband compressor is like a little heavy-handed for this, but I put it on single band, so. That works a little better. Yeah. So I'll squeeze this guy. Can I, the voice is to 1. Can I get that same effect by just adding a limiter? Because I like that clipping sound, but I want to retain it. Pretty fun, I like that. So it's like getting a kind of a weird grind going on. We're gonna add channel EQ, where we're gonna So I want more of like an attack on that thing, so we'll like crank this pitch. Cool. It's got a little bit of attack on it, so that's fun. Great. So here's my bass voice, synthesized, done. Let's make a pad or some sort of chord thing. Or actually, let's do some drums. I'm gonna, yeah, let's just do drums. Oh, I didn't kick Vital out of here again. Oops. Do this. So here comes a kick drum. It's gonna work very similarly to this thing that we just did, where it's, except for it's just gonna drop. Let's see if we can get away with this. Yeah. Cool. That's pretty much all I want out of it. I just want more of that. Cool, that's working.
Nice.
A little more digital sounding with the sinoid fold distortion. I kind of like that. And then more bass. Right, we're only gonna get so much before we clip this output. Again, like I wish this compressor was a little more useful. Like I just find it like, it's just like, it's trying too much to be OTT, and like, I really want just like a more normal compressor or something. Or like something like the color limiter. Right, sounds like a kick drum, hey? Pretty happy with that, cool, onward. Let's put these in a drum rack. So I'm gonna make myself a little custom drum rack full of sounds. So this will make it a little easier for me to deal with, because then I don't have to like worry about like which note I'm hitting here. I can just like program this thing just like I would any other kick drum. Ugh. That made the wrong kind of group. Okay, and then we can, in our drum rack, we can go grab this. Oh, why is this so annoying? I'm trying to speed run here. Trying a speed run. I gotta like, I guess I gotta do this, like cut and paste this in here. Yeah, cool. So now when I play, I just get to program it like a regular drum. And let's like put the color limiter after this. Oh no, I take it back. But let's add another vital and we'll make another sound. So I like to do hi-hats really simply. You can just like flip on a noise oscillator. If the track is armed, that certainly helps. Oh, I'm playing. Right, I like to put my hi-hats here. There's a hi-hat. If we want to give it more character, you can do weird stuff to it. Like, I don't know, we can try to put a pitch drop on this thing too. Well, that's fun. I got the pitch going up and it's going making this kind of like boing sound. If I add a reverb. Fun. Cool. So I got a little bit of like a wacky hi-hat, and let's get a snare going. You see I'm choosing these kind of random pads, or it feels kind of random, these pads I'm choosing here. These are like the default general MIDI pads. So like all of Ableton's drum kits always have their drums mapped to these pads, so I put them here like out of habit. It's a common place for them to go. So to make a snare, I really figured out like a useful thing to do is to like, I mean, I could probably like find something that sounds snare-like, but a really useful way to make a snare is to like think about it as like a body of a drum, like an impact, and then like the wires, like some sort of noise. So we get like a short sine wave. It's probably a bit higher pitch than our kick. Oh, I guess we're gonna play the right pad, which is that one. So that'll be like the body of our snare. We can send it to the filter and add like some filter drive if we want some character. And then we'll add some noise too. Now, and mix these in. So this should sound like kind of, sort of, vaguely, kind of like Lindrum-esque almost. This is like very much like a classic, classic snare type sound. It'll sound a little better if we high pass it a bit, probably, as that like, oh, is it the drive? Oh, it's the mix. I would have that like, usually like for a snare, like I might even go in here and just in the regular old EQ. I like to think, oh, I want EQ 8 because I can more control. I usually want to think about like things like, for like a fat snare, you want like body around 200. So I'm hitting a little low here with this guy. I might want to like shift this up. That almost sounds like an 808 like snare. It's like pretty close. It's kind of cool. I bet if I distorted it a little bit, we'd be even closer. You get this kind of just like splatted out noise snare. Kind of fun sound is to check out the sinoid fold and what it does as you get to weird values of drive. You can even modulate that if you felt like it. Ooh, there's something interesting. All right, that's what we're working with, folks. I think we need a more normal hi-hat. Jay, what do you think about this so far? Input, thoughts?
Sound
Not making
good.
Making sense, making no sense?
well, I wasn't sure were you gonna remix something or what was the?
No, this is just a from scratch composition thing.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
we were talking about like looking for like a reference track of some kind.
Oh, I see. That's what that
I
was
like
for.
to use those just for like as a compositional reference, just so I'm like, oh, like what kind of sounds am I looking for, instead of just like coming up with them out of my own mind like I'm doing right now. This one's not loud enough. And this one's not like snappy enough. So let's snappy this up. It's pretty snappy, huh? I like what the flanger does. Not that. We're gonna get some kind of weird results in here where I'm gonna like lean into this sort of like weird tonality of this thing, right? Like, weird patterns in here. Okay, drums, done. Bass, done. Let's come up with like some chord sounds real quick. So here's Vital. How are we doing? 6:15. Okay, great. I have made 5 different sounds from scratch. Onward. Here we go. So for this, we're just gonna make a super saw. So jack up the voices. So I'm gonna do something semi-experimental here. I'm going to just like max out my voices on all of these. I have 3 oscillators running saw waves, and then, oops, let's not have them play chords, that'd be nice. Oops. So this is kind of wild sounding, so let's actually shrink things down. So I'll use like 6 voices for the first one and 12 for the next one. So it should get like wider as it gets higher in this frequency range, and then also we'll tighten up those lower voices pretty tight, and then we'll tighten the middle one, like. So it should sound more out of tune as they get higher too. Maybe let's spread the high ones. So that's kind of cool sounding with one note, but it sounds pretty bad with chords, I think. That's kind of nice though. So this does get a bit of a big bottom end on it when I have this like giant stack. Like there's a whole 2 octaves. There's a whatever. What do we have? 34 notes or something playing at the same time. Oh, that's interesting. Is that coming out on the stream like that? I sure hope not.
No.
It's interesting.
I don't know why it decided to.
Huh?
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
That was
Great.
weird.
So I'm gonna like just use the high pass filter to get out that big boomy low end, so that this will stay out of the way of my big boomy low end. And hey, let's map this stereo parameter to the filter cutoff. Let's map this to a couple things. Like the stereo parameter, we can send it to, I don't know, where can we send this, actually? We'll do something. I want to make this thing weirder in stereo. But that'll just make the level different in both ears, and that's not really what I want. There. Cool. So what this does is it will make things like shift in stereo, like so the 2 sides will receive a different level. I can, I think, modulate. I can't modulate that modulation easily. I could probably do that from the effects matrix though. If I was really, really wanted to, but I don't. Oh yeah, that's why it doesn't sound like much, because these guys are going. Let's disconnect that. Cool, and then like add some motion. Let's feed this into the filter 2 with a different. So let's get that synced in 2 seconds. So we're gonna go for a slow morphing change. It's like. That's kind of interesting, capturing that.
That's cool.
I don't know. I gotta do something, right? So what did I just play? I really like this. Like, I appreciate this so much about Ableton. You've seen me abuse this feature to no end on the stream. Oop. What tempo is the thing I'm at? That is not what I heard in my head, but okay, Ableton. What an interesting chord progression. I like this. We're gonna stick with that. That's gonna be our thing. Okay. And then onward. So, well, we can like start programming something with this. So let's get a little like drum pattern going. I had this like sort of in mind to do like something like vaguely. Been like listening to a lot of Dylan Brady lately, so I've been like thinking, have something in mind of like something Brady-esque. Like something in like a halftime 160, not a halftime 1000 beat per minute, but halftime 160. And so halftime 160 beat. So we're gonna get like a vibe that's kind of like this. This pad needs to get turned down. I like to put a drum bus on those drums. Yes, much better. I'm just gonna go for like big, loud, nasty. I think I actually like those hi-hats kind of boring, so let's like that's the vibe right there. So that's got crazy low end in that sound. Don't want that, so. That's still a lot. Let's get EQ8 out. Like channel EQ is not cutting it. We can flip into our extra sharp. So like, where do I want this to hit? Oops. I don't like that stuff. So everything above like 200 feels pretty good to me, which makes sense because then the snare's gonna hit at 200, right? Oh, remember that like fun trick I found about the corpus, Jay, with those snares?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just see if we can. So I liked like. Gotta figure out how to make it not ring so long. Oh, that. There it is. Don't ever get sick of it. I really love that sound. Really, really love it. So, okay. So like, how are we gonna make this into a song? We need a bass line. Let's just write that real quick. I'm gonna duplicate this out and write a longer bass line. I have no idea like what sort of the tonality is here. I sort of played some random notes, and a lot of these are like dyads. These are all dyad pairs, so like there's no actual, like this sort of implies like a G, A minor, G to F kind of chord progression. Sort of. Like. It's kind of. But the ambiguity of it all is that it could totally be like. Like it's super ambiguous. So we're gonna use the bass like to kind of complete these triads, right? These G and D. That one's pretty sure like G and D, that's a G, that's a root and a fifth, that's like some kind of G chord. A and C, that's a third. So that could either be the upper third of an F minor triad or F major triad or the lower third of an A minor triad. So anyways, all these thirds become ambiguous. So let's de-ambiguize them with some sub bass. Yeah, it really does the thing down there. I'm clipping my master channel pretty bad, and I hope that the character. Unfortunately, I'm now bummed out. That character is coming from clipping my master. I really like that though. If that was my bass sound, that would be great. So insert audio track, set the input to resampling, arm it, arm your track you're gonna play too, and then you hit record. Oops. I think that last one was great. So now we insert a MIDI track, trim our sample just a smidge, and we drop our sample here. So now we have a 808 sample in our sampler, and I had the foresight to play a C note. So now it sounds the same every time I play it. I can trim this and put it in one-shot mode, fade it out a bit. working. We can give it a little more knock with the pitch envelope here. Sometimes that works well and sometimes it doesn't, you know. So let's just see if we can get this to do anything. Yeah, I don't like that pitch drop. That's like becoming pretty inaudible, huh? So it's all about context, right? Like I thought the sound sounded cool by itself, but it did not work in the context of my tune. Right away, it didn't work. So unfortunately, a lot of the character that I'm enjoying about this is coming from clipping my master track. So instead, let's see if I can set up the saturator to just clip that thing for me. All right. Well, the sampler will take care of it. I thought about switching back to the actual synth, but I think the sampler will be okay. So a lot of times, like I'm not really sure whether I like any of those over anything else. So I'll play it an octave up and then pitch it down. That was all over the place. Perfect. We're speed running here, so we'll quantize this to 16th notes, see what happens. So there's no root note there. Put that there, slide that here. So I'm going to go edit a few of these notes. Whatever that was did not work. Oh, wait. Used to my little side-scrolling mouse wheels here. I don't have that. Yeah, it's like that first note. Oh yeah, boo doo doo doo. I don't know how this ended. Oh, it's because I captured it from my playing. It ended up over in that view. Let's extend all this stuff so I can hear the entire thing. Oopsies. 6:30. We're doing all right.
Yeah, I'm pretty far into it already.
I'll make a quick variation on this drums where there's like you can make like some like simple like. Let's pitch that up. That's not like high pitched enough for me. We make some simple like sort of like trappy hi-hat stuff. Oops. Hate it when that happens. Here we go. Come on. There you are. It's not very like hi-hatty sounding yet. I feel like it needs more like hi-hi. So we go over here and get out the channel EQ, flop that on there. That's kind of more like it. So I'm going to put in some rolls. So that's kind of cool. So I'll like do this and then I'll like undo, I'll duplicate it and then like undo some of the like weirder things that I did. It's like one way to approach this, you know, like have it sound like just like a little more straightforward the first time. That sounds a lot better. I think that was supposed to be like a boost on that snare or something. Sounds good. So the cool thing about the LFO on this like this thing that's modulating so much stuff is like it sounds like it's like changing a lot over time, like as I'm messing with it. So I want to like start creating a little like motion though that isn't here yet. So we're gonna add a little automation, which is something that my students are required to do. So like one of the things I'm gonna do is like we're gonna start a little intro. I'm gonna make I'm gonna have 3 versions of this drum loop. So there's gonna be a version. Well, maybe 4 versions, right? So like one version that just has the snare, one version that has the little like drippy sound in it. And then a version that has the kick. I want that louder. I can put a little utility after that. There we go. Cool. So now we can have like this little intro. I can maybe make a stripped down version of the bass too. We'll think about it. And now in this intro, I have this filter automation, which I can like just create like a little loose like intro. We'll keep it short and sweet with 8 bars of an intro. So right, so it starts kind of like, let's do a little cool thing. We'll have a reverse automation. We'll add a little reverb to this because the reverb is nice. And then we'll show that automation and we'll reverse this. We'll do the same thing. We'll have a ton of reverb. So that'll like juice the reverb up there. Sound a little more verbed out at the beginning. And so here when it comes in, let's have the bass enter. And we're going to simplify the bass part here, where I'm just gonna like fold it and just like delete everything that's like, or I'll mute probably rather than delete. Like that. Cool, so that's an acceptable intro. And then, you know, like maybe we'd be in here with like this like big section here. And we have like this another repetitionist loop. There's a lot of things I don't like about this bass line. Maybe one thing I could do is put it in like glide mode and then like that like, oh no. It's kind of fun. Feels better. So we're going to add now, how are we doing? 6:38, cool. I think we're doing okay. Hey Sage, just noticed that you waved. I don't know how long ago that was. So I said I want to do a sound effect thing. This is the method I showed my students and I'll show you all now. One of my favorite sound effects to use is white noise. I don't know why I can play. Well, that's like really wild and crazy sounding. Let's like, I've been showing my students about like the idea of filtering this. And Vital has such interesting filters. Like, gosh, this isn't even, this is the resonance all the way down. There's like a whole world of that to explore. I really like this sound of like the sweeping up over like, let's set this to be, is this 4 beats or is that, so that can give me 4 bars. Yeah. So I want to record that. So we'll insert another audio track, set that audio track to resampling, arm, oops, close this plugin window, arm both of those tracks. And then I'm going to record just like a couple of things with these. Should this like, cool. I can just like stop it there because I'll just use it where I'll cut it off. And then I want to do another one of these where instead of that effect increasing like that, like it just like maybe has like a ton of reverb and like fades out. So I'm gonna mute that thing and then just like add this lush reverb over here. So I'm gonna like reverse map this LFO to the volume here. So I think and then let's turn up the reverb mix as we do that. Kind of interesting. So we'll sample that too. So I already have a note plugged in, so I just have to hit record. Oh, but overdub's not on, so it's trying to overdub my note. So this will be like our crash cymbal. Oh, hey. Bonus.
Bonus.
I didn't mean to do that, but we've got a little click at the end there, which means that we have another little percussive sound for our drum rack.
Happy accidents.
Yes, I always use them, because you never know. What does it sound like? Oh, no, not that. You know I love stuff like that. Cool, great. So we're at our 4 of our 5 aspects of music, right? So we're gonna add, this guy is gonna be our little like fill sound whenever something happens. I'll make it short there, and then this guy will hit to let us know that's our crash. It's gonna be a little quieter, so we get our like. Oh, it hit the loop point. If we want that to feel like crashier, we could probably do something like fancy, like put it in complex mode and get the transposition envelope out and like make it do like a crazy pitch drop at the beginning. That's kind of fun. So I also want to make sure that there's no low end on this track. That these guys should have, like, it's white noise, so it has all frequencies in there equally, so I really want to get the bass out of there. And I like to do this thing where I'll like air gap this a smidge, so I'll like zoom in super far and like just like cut this a bit. And it makes the impact feel a little stronger. I might actually just clip bang this up and drop the whole track down though. So there's some issues with this bass line right now. You hearing that? It's like kind of like dropping out, and I think it's because I tried to get clever with that like. So it's like some of these notes are gliding when they shouldn't. That should be a little better. So it's okay, 15 minutes to get a little bit of melody and some structure. I don't think I'm gonna get to the point of like doing an appropriate mix, although we can just like slap a limiter on here. I did show people that in the class that I have asked them to do things like group their instruments. I don't really have much instruments that make sense to group, although I do personally often like to group my effects, like risers and stuff, in with my drums, so then they get caught by the drum bus. And then you hear it kind of like push the noise down when the kick hits right there. It's kind of nice. It makes it feel really interactive. I tend to keep basses on their own track for reasons. So this was our bass sound. Let's modify this thing to do something else maybe, since we never. So how do we turn this into a lead sound? Whoa. Well, we get rid of that. Let's go with like this kind of little like plucky little thing. So that's now, okay, that's not a very good lead anymore. So it's gonna be kind of hard to hear that, I think, above the mess. So let's pick something that's a little more like audible. I'm gonna pull out my basic shape.